As the first light of dawn touches the earth on April 6th, 2025, a sacred alignment will awaken within you. If you choose to be present at Lower Hamlet, when the cosmic gates swing wide. This is no ordinary day, but a divine appointment written in the stars, where 6 numerical vibrations will descend like spiritual lightning into the consciousness of those gathered there. These numbers pulse with the ancient wisdom of enlightened ones who understood mathematics as the language of creation itself, each digit carrying specific frequencies that can rearrange your reality when properly received and activated. The significance of this date has been foretold in the subtle patterns of nature, in the way the cherry blossoms will be in full bloom at Lower Hamlet on this day, their petals falling in perfect synchronicity with the numerical codes being revealed. There's a reason this transmission occurs as winter's grip fully releases and spring's creative energy surges. It mirrors the rebirth awaiting those who align with these vibrations. The land itself at Lower Hamlet remembers every seeker who has ever come here for spiritual awakening, and on April 6th, 2025, it will serve as a living amplifier for the numerical frequencies being channeled. What makes these particular numbers so transformative is their origin point. They emerge not from human calculation, but from the fundamental geometry of existence, the same mathematical perfection that shapes galaxies and governs the growth of every living thing. When you receive them in this sacred container, with the spring equinox energies still reverberating through the earth, they will bypass your logical mind and speak directly to your soul's blueprint. This is why merely reading these numbers later would lack their full power. It's the experience of receiving them in that exact moment, in that holy space, surrounded by others on the same awakening path, that allows them to rewrite your karmic code at the deepest level. As the sun reaches its zenith on April 6th at Lower Hamlet, a portal will open where time bends and all possible versions of your future converge. The 6 numbers revealed in that instant will serve as coordinates to navigate toward your most abundant timeline. They will resonate differently for each person present, as the universe customizes their meaning for every soul's unique journey. Some will hear them as a calling to new career heights, others as keys to healing ancestral patterns, and for a select few, as the missing pieces to their life's spiritual puzzle. But their full meaning will unfold progressively in the months following the event, as you learn to work with their vibrations in daily practice. Number 1, the concept of oneness, non-duality and interconnection in Buddhism. The concept of oneness in Buddhism represents the fundamental realization of non-duality, which is the understanding that all things are interconnected and lack independent, separate existence. This realization forms the very core of enlightenment, as it teaches that the self and the universe are not distinct, but part of the same ultimate reality. In Buddhism, this oneness is not simply an abstract philosophical concept. It is a transformative understanding that, when realized, dissolves the boundaries that separate the individual from the world. In Mahayana Buddhism, this concept of oneness is intricately connected to the teaching of shunyata, emptiness, which emphasizes that all phenomena lack inherent existence. Everything arises through dependent origination, pratyasamutpada, the idea that nothing exists independently or permanently. All things are dependent on each other, and their existence is conditioned by various causes and conditions. By realizing this, a practitioner can transcend the illusion of separateness, cultivating wisdom and compassion. When the illusion of independent existence is dissolved, the boundaries between self and other fade, fostering a deep connection with all beings. In meditation and mindfulness practices, oneness is often expressed as the unity of mind and body. In this state, thoughts, emotions, and sensations are observed without attachment, allowing the practitioner to experience reality as it truly is, free from the distortions created by the ego and desires. By cultivating this deep awareness, the practitioner can dissolve the mental barriers that create suffering achieving a state of inner peace and harmony. In Zen Buddhism, the realization of oneness is the ultimate goal of mindfulness practice. Zen teachings urge practitioners to be fully present in the moment, emphasizing direct experience over conceptual understanding. Enlightenment is seen as something to be realized in the present, not attained in the future. Practices like zazen, seated meditation, are designed to help the practitioner dissolve the illusion of duality between subject and object, self and other. Through these practices, one develops an intuitive understanding of reality as unified and interconnected. In Buddhist iconography, certain deities embody the principle of oneness. Vairocana Buddha, for example, is regarded as the embodiment of universal truth and wisdom. Vairocana is often depicted radiating infinite light, symbolizing the idea that all phenomena arise from the same source. In Vajrayana Buddhism, Vairocana represents the ultimate nature of the Buddha mind, pure, boundless, and interconnected with everything in the universe. Ultimately, the realization of oneness in Buddhism is not just an intellectual or philosophical concept. It is a transformative experience that dissolves suffering. When one sees beyond the distinctions of self and other, this understanding naturally gives rise to compassion. When we understand that all beings are interconnected, harming another is seen as harming oneself. This deep insight fosters a life guided by wisdom, kindness, and a profound sense of responsibility toward all sentient beings. Number 3. The Three Jewels, Triple Gem. The three jewels, Triratna, form the very foundation of Buddhist practice and are essential to the spiritual journey of all practitioners. These three elements, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, serve as sources of refuge, guidance, and community for those seeking enlightenment. Buddha. The Buddha, the awakened one, is the teacher who has attained full enlightenment and has transcended the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara. The Buddha represents the possibility of liberation, serving as a model for all beings to follow. His awakening signifies the attainment of wisdom and compassion. In recognizing the Buddha as the embodiment of enlightenment, practitioners take refuge in his example, knowing that it is possible to achieve the same state of liberation through following his teachings. Dharma. The Dharma refers to the teachings of the Buddha, the wisdom and truths that guide individuals toward liberation. These teachings are both the path and the goal, teaching how to overcome suffering and attain enlightenment. The Dharma includes the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, which outline the nature of suffering, its causes, and the methods to end it. It also offers practical guidelines for ethical behavior, meditation, and the cultivation of wisdom. The Dharma provides the framework through which a practitioner can understand the nature of reality and transform their mind and actions. Sangha. The Sangha is the spiritual community that supports the individual on their path. It includes monks, nuns, and lay practitioners who share a commitment to the Dharma. The Sangha acts as a network of mutual support, offering guidance, companionship, and encouragement in the practice of Buddhism. By joining the Sangha, practitioners find solidarity in their spiritual pursuits, learn from the experiences of others, and receive wisdom from experienced teachers. The Sangha's role is vital, as it provides the conditions for communal learning and spiritual growth. In Buddhist rituals, the three jewels are often honored and revered. Many mantras, prayers, and recitations are done 3 times to symbolize the importance of these foundational elements. This practice of repetition reinforces the commitment to take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The three jewels also represent the harmony of mind, body, and spirit. Just as the Buddha embodies wisdom, the Dharma represents truth, and the Sangha signifies community. Together, they provide a balanced framework for life. The three jewels are not only external to the practitioner, but must be internalized as guiding principles. They represent the integration of these three aspects into one's practice, helping to align the mind, body, and spirit with the ultimate goal of liberation and enlightenment. By taking refuge in the three jewels, a practitioner commits to living a life guided by wisdom, compassion, and the support of a like-minded community. This refuge offers a clear path forward on the journey toward spiritual awakening and the realization of one's true nature. 18. The 18 Realms of Existence. In Buddhist philosophy, the 18 realms of existence, often referred to as 18 dhatus in Pali and Sanskrit, represent a comprehensive framework through which beings interact with and perceive the world around them. These realms are essential for understanding how perception arises and how humans experience reality. The 18 realms are divided into three categories: 6 senses, 6 sense objects, and 6 consciousnesses. 6 senses. The 6 senses are the faculties through which beings perceive the world. These are the sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and the mind, mental or cognitive sense. These senses allow us to interact with the external world, from visual stimuli to the sensations of taste and touch. The mind is considered the sixth sense because it enables perception of mental phenomena, such as thoughts, emotions, and ideas. 6 sense objects. These are the external phenomena or objects that correspond to each of the 6 senses. They include visible objects, forms, sounds, smells, tastes, tangible things, such as textures and sensations of touch, and mental formations, concepts, ideas, thoughts, and feelings. These objects interact with their corresponding senses, giving rise to perception in the mind. For instance, visual objects interact with the sense of sight, producing visual consciousness, while mental formations are perceived by the mind. 6 consciousnesses. The 6 types of consciousness represent the awareness that arises when a sense organ contacts its respective object. These types of consciousness are visual consciousness, auditory consciousness, olfactory consciousness, gustatory consciousness, tactile consciousness, and mental consciousness. When a sense organ perceives its corresponding object, like seeing a flower or hearing a sound, consciousness arises to process and interpret that information. This process of sensory interaction is what constitutes an individual's experience of the world. A key teaching in Buddhism that relates to the 18 realms is the understanding of impermanence, anicca. All of these realms, whether they are sensory experiences, objects, or consciousness itself, are transient and fleeting. Nothing exists independently or permanently. This realization leads to the cultivation of detachment from sensory attachments and the illusions created by the mind. Through practices such as meditation, practitioners observe and investigate these realms to deepen their understanding of impermanence. They learn that perception itself is conditioned by the interaction of the senses and their objects, and thus is not an absolute or permanent truth. This insight helps to dissolve the attachments and misconceptions that lead to suffering, encouraging the practitioner to cultivate wisdom and develop an understanding of the true nature of existence. In meditation, a common practice is to observe how each sense, object, and consciousness arises, changes, and ceases. This practice of vipassana, insight meditation, encourages practitioners to see the transient nature of all experiences, leading to the realization that nothing is permanent and all phenomena are interconnected. By deeply understanding the 18 realms of existence, a practitioner moves closer to the goal of liberation, transcending the illusions of duality and attachment that bind them to the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. 27. The triple nine, 3 times 9, of wisdom and completion. The number 27 holds special significance in Buddhism, as it is a multiple of the sacred number 9, 9, which symbolizes completion, spiritual fulfillment, and divine wisdom. The relationship between 27 and 9 is particularly powerful in Buddhist practice, as 27 is the result of 9 times 3, amplifying the qualities of wisdom, transformation, and spiritual depth associated with the number 9. In Buddhism, the number 9 is revered for its representation of the completion of a cycle or process. It signifies the attainment of a state of spiritual wholeness or fulfillment, indicating that a particular aspect of the spiritual journey has been fully realized. The repetition of the number 9, especially when multiplied, is seen as a way to intensify the impact of the wisdom it represents. When 27 is considered in Buddhist contexts, it is often associated with wisdom and completion. The number 27 can be seen as a deeper manifestation of wisdom, amplifying the qualities inherent in the number 9. In this way, it symbolizes the culmination of a spiritual path or practice, where insights and understanding reach a higher level of realization and completion. This is significant not only in numerology, but also in the practical aspects of Buddhist practice. A common ritual in many Buddhist traditions involves the recitation of mantras, often repeated a specific number of times to aid in meditation and deepen spiritual focus. 27 recitations of a mantra is a practice in which practitioners repeatedly chant or invoke a mantra for a set number of times to cultivate mindfulness, deepen concentration, and invoke spiritual power. Each repetition helps align the mind, body, and spirit with the qualities of the mantra, bringing the practitioner closer to the wisdom and insights that the mantra embodies. Through this process, the practitioner can experience spiritual growth and a deeper understanding of the Dharma. In Tibetan Buddhism, advanced meditation practices sometimes involve a focus on 27 levels of awareness, each representing a different state or stage of consciousness. These levels are considered to be the stepping stones on the journey to enlightenment, where practitioners cultivate awareness, mindfulness, and insight. The process of advancing through these 27 levels is a symbolic and practical method of achieving spiritual refinement, where each level represents a deeper understanding of reality and a greater ability to navigate the complexities of existence. The significance of 27 in this context also aligns with the Buddhist understanding of the gradual path to enlightenment. Just as the number 9 represents completion, the multiplication of this number by 3 in the form of 27 emphasizes the ongoing process of growth, refinement, and fulfillment. It speaks to the understanding that wisdom and completion are not static, but are continually refined and deepened over time across many stages and levels of practice. Thus, the triple 9, 3 times 9, represents a harmonious and powerful symbol of spiritual progression, where wisdom is amplified and completion becomes an ever-deepening process. It is a reminder that, in Buddhism, the path to enlightenment is a journey of continual refinement, where each step brings one closer to the ultimate truth and liberation. 72. The cosmic cycle and spiritual progress. The number 72 holds profound significance in various Buddhist teachings, particularly in cosmological and spiritual contexts. It represents a cosmic cycle and is often seen as a symbol of spiritual evolution, guiding beings through numerous transitions on their journey to enlightenment. The number 72, in this context, is considered to reflect the multiple stages or transitions a soul undergoes before it reaches the ultimate goal of nirvana or spiritual liberation. In some Buddhist cosmologies, 72 stages of spiritual evolution are recognized, each representing a step in the soul's progression through the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. These stages are seen as necessary transitions where beings gradually refine their understanding, behavior, and consciousness. Each stage represents the shedding of illusions, the cultivation of wisdom, and the deepening of spiritual insight. The number 72 signifies the gradual and continuous process of spiritual growth and the eventual realization of the truth. Certain Buddhist traditions, especially within Chinese Buddhism, associate the number 72 with divine beings who play a protective and guiding role for sentient beings. These 72 beings are believed to guard and protect the Dharma, the sacred teachings of the Buddha, ensuring that the path to enlightenment is preserved and accessible. The divine guardians are often portrayed as emanations of compassion and wisdom, helping to maintain the integrity of the Buddhist teachings and supporting practitioners on their journey. Additionally, some scriptures speak of 72 enlightened beings who assist sentient beings in their spiritual progress. These beings, often referred to as bodhisattvas or other advanced spiritual entities, are dedicated to helping others attain enlightenment. They are depicted as compassionate guides who offer their wisdom and blessings to help individuals navigate the complexities of existence and the obstacles on the spiritual path. These enlightened beings act as role models and protectors, offering support and encouragement to those seeking liberation from suffering. In this sense, the number 72 also symbolizes the cosmic cycle of spiritual progress, where the soul moves through many lifetimes and stages of consciousness. Each stage brings the individual closer to the ultimate truth, and through these transitions, the soul gradually purifies itself of ignorance and attachment. The number 72 thus represents the cosmic order and the infinite possibilities of spiritual transformation. The significance of 72 emphasizes the belief that enlightenment is not a singular or sudden event, but a gradual process. It underscores the idea that every sentient being is on a path of continuous growth and progress, with numerous opportunities for learning, insight, and development. Just as the cosmic cycle is vast and ongoing, so too is the journey of spiritual evolution, marked by the cumulative effort of many steps, guided by the wisdom and compassion of enlightened beings. By contemplating the number 72, practitioners are reminded of the long but rewarding path to liberation, and of the many forces, both divine and human, that support and protect them along the way. The number symbolizes both the vastness and the depth of the Buddhist path, highlighting the importance of perseverance, compassion, and wisdom on the journey toward enlightenment. 108. The ultimate sacred number. The number 108 is widely regarded as the most sacred and revered number in Buddhism, appearing in a multitude of practices, teachings, and rituals across different Buddhist traditions. Its significance is deeply rooted in the idea of completeness, wholeness, and spiritual purification. The number 108 symbolizes a bridge between the material and spiritual worlds, guiding practitioners on their path toward enlightenment. One of the most common uses of the number 108 is in the form of prayer beads or mala beads. A Buddhist mala typically consists of 108 beads, and it is used during meditation or prayer to keep track of the number of mantra recitations. As practitioners chant a mantra, they move their fingers over each bead, counting each repetition to focus their mind and deepen their connection to the sacred. The act of using 108 beads is symbolic of purifying the mind and cultivating inner peace. It also aligns with the notion that each repetition brings the practitioner closer to overcoming obstacles and reaching spiritual fulfillment. The number 108 also represents the 108 worldly desires, referred to as kleshas, that bind beings to suffering and the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. These desires, which arise from attachment, ignorance, and aversion, obscure wisdom and keep individuals trapped in the cycle of suffering. The practice of chanting or meditating with the mala, often repeating mantras 108 times, is a way of overcoming these desires. By doing so, practitioners aim to transcend attachment and purify their consciousness, ultimately leading to the cessation of suffering and the attainment of nirvana. In addition to desires, the number 108 is also associated with the 108 defilements, or mental afflictions, that cloud one's wisdom. These defilements, such as greed, hatred, and delusion, are considered the root causes of suffering. Through meditation, mindfulness, and ethical conduct, practitioners strive to eliminate these defilements, thereby allowing their inherent wisdom to emerge. Each repetition of a mantra or prayer is viewed as a step toward freeing oneself from these negative emotions. In Buddhist rituals, 108 prostrations are often performed as an act of devotion and humility. This physical gesture symbolizes the practitioner's submission of the ego and recognition of the sacred. By bowing 108 times, practitioners express their reverence for the Buddha, the Dharma, teachings, and the Sangha, community, while also symbolizing their commitment to purifying their actions, speech, and thoughts. In Zen Buddhism, the number 108 holds particular significance during New Year's Eve ceremonies. On this occasion, Zen monks traditionally ring the temple bell 108 times, each toll representing one of the 108 defilements or impurities. This ringing ceremony is believed to cleanse the accumulated negative karma and transgressions of the past year, providing an opportunity for renewal and spiritual purification as the new year begins. In both Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism, it is taught that there are 108 paths leading to enlightenment. These paths represent the many different ways that individuals can approach the teachings of the Buddha and cultivate the qualities of wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. The number 108 serves as a reminder of the vastness of the spiritual journey, where many paths, each with its own challenges and rewards, lead to the same ultimate goal of liberation. Finally, 108 is also considered a cosmic number, symbolizing the vastness of existence. It represents the infinite possibilities and dimensions of the universe and existence itself, highlighting the interconnection of all things. In this context, 108 encapsulates the vast, interconnected nature of life and the many layers of experience that must be navigated on the way to enlightenment. The number 108 in Buddhism, therefore, is a profound and all-encompassing symbol. Whether in the form of prayer beads, defilements to overcome, or sacred rituals, it represents the journey of spiritual purification, the path to liberation, and the realization of one's true nature. It reminds practitioners that the road to enlightenment is expansive, requiring persistent effort, mindfulness, and dedication to overcoming the distractions and attachments of worldly existence.